5 F4. Let's look at the store. And just a reminder that tomorrow there's going to be a event for earning raid credits. So be sure to save them till at least tomorrow, these emails, because it's a kind of a surprise event. Then also, no word on this in the blog post on when the war Saga was going to start, but we predicted that it was going to be like the other ones, that it was going to start at the end of the 5-day Scourge, and so we have confirmation of that. Now, there is pretty significant upgrades, in my opinion, to Red Hulk Special, so it is kind of a big deal. Let's keep going. Is A-Force worth investing in? And it says, I'm just curious if A-Force would be worthwhile. Everything said you need Dr. Doom as a 5th. Curly mid-game seems like a fun team to eventually invest in. Let me know your thoughts. The problem with this is that you want to invest in teams that are broken and busted and so super good right now so that you can still have a lot of value with them a year from now. Let me give you an example. Infinity Watch. When Infinity Watch came out, it was just the best. And guess what? Infinity Watch is still good today. Eternals, a year ago, when they came out, they were the best. And guess what? They're still really good today. Mediocre teams a year ago are nearly unplayable today. And who are the broken, busted, amazingly good teams right now? It's going to be your Horsemen and characters like Spider-Weaver. Those are the characters to dump resources in today because they're probably going to be important and relevant even a year from now. A-Force is a mediocre team now. It's going to be more mediocre a year from now, or maybe not even playable. Like I feel like if you're going to dump resources, make sure it's like the best team now, and then that way you can have more of a shelf life. And does A-Force have merits? Yes. Is it useful in certain situations? Yes. But are they like just ridiculously good? No, they're very, very mediocre, and they're just going to get more mediocre as time goes on. Anyway, so is A-Force worth investing in? No. All right, let's move on. This is kind of an interesting thought experiment. Let's promote you to CEO Scopely. How would you run Marvel Strike Force? After the promotion, you have the following conditions to work with. Player base wants more free stuff, less revenue. It's like, that doesn't matter. Screw the players. Player base hoards to get more milestones that are playing, less revenue. Yeah, this, I think, is in everybody's best interest to make events that are not revolving around hoarding. I don't think they like it. I don't think we like it. I don't know why they do it. Inflation going up. Programmers want more pay, more cost, less profits. I think a way that they could offset this is making a proper PC client for this game, so we don't have to use BlueStacks. And if they would have done that years ago, think of all the revenue that they would have made up by not sending it to Google Play and iTunes. I'm just really surprised that they haven't do it. I know that they have a PC client on other scope of the games, like Star Trek Fleet Command. I feel like doing something like that is a win-win. We get better service by playing on a PC, so we don't have to use an emulator. And they get more revenue because they don't have to give 30% to Google or Apple, right? Shareholders want CEO to make more money for them. CEO's fired if not making enough money. How would you make this work? I think for me, there's a lot of win-win situations. So another win-win situation would be having the game not being buggy, not having being glitchy. That would be a win-win for not only the players, but also for the company. I can't understand why they can't put more time into making sure there's not simple problems in the game. They have the amount of time and effort they have to put into fixing these glitches has to cost more than doing it right the first time. I just can't understand that. And the other thing too I want to say is that I feel like nobody really knows how long Marvel Strike Force is going to be around. There's no precedence or how long these mobile titles and video games that have ongoing annuitized monetization systems, how long they last. I think like Clash of Clans is going on 10, 11 years. Candy Crush is still going. World of Warcraft is still going. That's a subscription model, a little different than this, but it feels like these games last a lot longer than people realize, and nobody really knows how long they're going to last. There's a lot of other games mobile titles that came out before Marvel Strike Force that are still going and going and going. And of course, revenue goes down over time, but it is what it is. All right, let's keep going on. Event orbs that give a ton of training materials. Remember these event orbs that gave tons of training materials? You could pull 1,000 blue mats. What were they called? Whatever happened to those? Scopely decided they're too player friendly. I feel like they go in cycles where they give more gold and more training materials. And frankly, I believe we are in a cycle right now where they are starving us on gold and giving us more training meals. I could be wrong on this. There's a good post right here by Wrestling. This Gamma Orb for this event seemed to get a fair amount of training mats and some gold between things like that and the general calendar. Seems like Scopely decided to give us training mats and starve us from gold. And actually, the calendar is a little bit more controversial. They stripped us of a lot of gold and gave us a little bit of training materials. It's actually not good at all. Then, let's talk about this. If the next CCC had rooms for the other game modes like War, Raid, etc., which you have in defense and offense, and I thought that was kind of interesting. Like, what if they made it so that like Room 6 gets raid buffs and Room 5 gets war buffs? Be really interesting, right? I think that could be a fun little thing to do. And then of course you'll get your Cosmic Crucible buffs too. I just think that there's a lot of things that they could do with Cosmic Crucible. I'm actually disappointed that they extended it like for another 2 months. I was looking forward to the changes. I feel it keeps it fresh and a little bit more unpredictable. And I'm just kind of blown away that they couldn't get it together to change it in a timely manner. Let's see, what would happen to the War Store? So they were supposed to removing older characters, the crowded War Store. They have been adding more and more characters, increasing slots. In the past, they said every time they add a new character, they remove a new old character. I don't know if they said that. They always word things in a way that makes it difficult to hold them to it. They always say like, maybe or our intent or something, there's always like some legalistic way of wording things. But I do want to say that Dazzler now is in the War Store, and yeah, I haven't seen her yet. It is definitely a lot more clogged. Okay, let's get into offer review. Of course, we've got Dazzler, which we were just talking about, 50 character charge for $5. She is a horseman. She's very good, but she is in the War Store. But it seems like it's few and far. I haven't seen her yet in the War Store. Looking forward to that. But I eventually will get her to 7 stars just over time. I already have her at 6 stars. But if this saves you time, or if you want to save war currency, then there you go. Then we also got another offer. Now, so this is kind of interesting. I don't really understand why they do this. They have these offers for Moondragon for 50 character shards for $5, but yet if you want to buy more, it costs you more rather than like you get a discount if you buy in bulk. It just seems very strange that they do it that way. I guess if you need Moondragon shards and you're willing to spend $25 for 200 shards, there you go. And then they're doing the same thing right here. 100 of Jane Foster, Marty Thor, and Valkyrie. So you got 200 shards for $25, where usually I get pretty excited about these $5 offers for 50 character shards. So this is kind of a little bit different. Probably the best deal in the store currently for Young Avengers team offers. So this is still a very useful team. It definitely is in the mediocre category, maybe going down, of course, but it's still a very, very, very useful team in a lot of different ways and does a lot of good things. So I do like this. If this helps you get started on your Young Avenger team, there you go. And then we've got Phantom X, Phantom X, 50 character shards for $5. He recently was been added to a node, so on one of the hard villain nodes, so you can get a little bit of his shards every day. Madeline Pryor, relatively, in my opinion, kind of uneventful character. She probably was like one of the few skippable characters we've seen in recent times. She's also in a node, and you can farm her a little bit every day. 50 character shards for $5. I don't know if I would do that or not. But anyways, we've got Phyla. I'm still a fan of Infinity Watch, and I don't know if people should be dumping a bunch of resources in Infinity Watch, but like I said earlier in the video, like Infinity Watch was so good when they came out, and anybody that went all out and put a lot of resources into them when they first came out and they were really good is still getting tremendous value out of them today. Infinity Watch is very good for sure. Morbius, he's more in the mediocre character category, and he's used on war offense against Heroes for Hire, so very limited use for him. And then right here, Guardians Raid Team. Guardians are pretty much not great. Right here, Rocket. This will help you get Star-Lord. And then if you have Rocket and Star-Lord at gear tier 15, you can use them on the Nowhere Heist. Groot and Minerva are almost unplayable blitz teams. Drax is a pre-taunting tank. And I'm going to circle back to that pre-taunting tanks here in a minute. And then we have Gamora, which is used on Infinity Watch. The other day, I took Kingpin to gear tier 16 because he is effectively with his bodyguard that comes in to spawn with him, spawns with taunt and death proof. He's effectively a pre-taunting tank. Pre-taunting tanks like Drax, Red Guardian, and now Kingpin seem to have longer shelf lives, and they're useful in more situations as plug and play characters. So what I'm trying to say is I've been very picky about characters that I take to gear tier 16, but I took Kingpin because I think I'm going to get a lot of use out of him. Like, we still at times use Drax in war on defense. We definitely use Red Guardian, and I think Kingpin will also serve that purpose. All right, then next we've got a bundle right here for hand. There is a monthly event called Relic Hunt, which is okay, which requires hand, and then the higher the stars you have them, the max out the event, you can get a, if you get seven stars on the hand, then you can max out the event. This is such just such a unplayable, bad team. The only character that's getting some use right now is Nobu, who's been moved to Underworld. And then it's hard. I guess Hand Assassin can be used to unlock Phoenix because she's a villain mystic controller, but it is not good. So just keep that in mind. And then lastly, I know I've mentioned this before, but this is Legacy 2 Orb Offer. This is a good way of getting T3 purple ability materials. There's going to be between 350 and 400 in this, and a small amount of gold, small amount of purple gear, and then characters from year 2. But for $5, this is going to be the most efficient way typically to get purple T3 abilities, because otherwise they have individual offers that it costs twice as much and give less. They're just not good. All right, well, now it's time for the giveaway. I really hope you liked today's video, because if you did, you are in luck. That's right. For every single person that likes today's video, you will be getting for free in your account an 8-star. No, Boomer, this is not a scam. Yeah, big shout out to Mythic, who put this on Twitter. Says this team is absolutely insane. Even with the mine being lower built, characters keep getting crazier. Marvel Strike Force. Yeah, look at that guy in the middle. I like that guy. That guy seems pretty cool. But yeah, I did put a video about how they Underworld works against Darkhold inside of Alliance War. It's kind of a specific thing, but I think a lot of people are getting Mr. Negative now. He's kind of like the Wolverine of the web store, so that might be worth checking out. All right, guys, let me know what you think in the comment section, and as always, thanks for watching. Keep on gaming. Bye for now. Legendary costume. Oof.